Welcome. We're just going to let everybody get in because I didn't put up, I kind of was late putting up stuff to Instagram, letting everybody know. So we're just going to kind of wait for everybody to get in. Welcome. Hi. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello. We're just going to wait, let everybody get in. Hi, everybody. Okay, good. I'm trying to find my notes. I took a bunch of notes for this video today, guys, because we have a lot to cover. I'm so sorry. It's been so long since I've made a video, but there's been a lot going on. So much in my personal life. But anyways, we're just going to let everybody get into the chat a little bit and see, because I said 15 minutes on Instagram. That was not accurate at all. So we'll just let everybody show up. So what is everybody doing today? Are you listing? Did you go to National Thrift Day? What's going on? What did you guys do? Or what are you doing right now? I want to know. I saw that a lot of thrift stores weren't really doing any like sales for National Thrift Day. You think that they would like take full advantage of the fact that it's National Day for their store, but whatever. I know my thrift stores don't like to have a lot of sales because they're already pretty cheap. Okay, guys, I don't know who's going to be coming in. It's kind of in the middle of the day, so people might be out doing stuff. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it probably would have been a good day to go to the bins. That's definitely a national thrift store thing to do today, right? Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in. I'm definitely going to talk about listing today. I know there's been a lot of questions about, you know, after eBay opened, what things have been changed and what things are doing. Oh, it was really empty. I'm surprised. Well, good for you. You probably got all good stuff then. That's good. But we're just going to kind of go over like some things that eBay Open said about listing and then what I added onto it from talking to the search guy, and then what changes I've made in my store, what I've noticed since I've made these changes with listing, and things of that nature. I also want to talk about like time management. I've been working really hard, like try to streamline my week as far as reselling is concerned, and just trying to make a schedule for myself so I stay the most productive as possible. My 2 kids are in school during the week, and it's just so important for me to make sure that I'm utilizing those hours of my day to the most they possibly can. So if you guys haven't watched the eBay Open videos that they've posted online about selling, I highly recommend you do so. All you have to do is go to the eBay Open page. Maybe after this video is over, I will put a link to the eBay Open page where you can give them your information, and then you'll be able to have access to all of the classes from eBay Open, which is awesome. And I highly recommend, guys, there was so much information in those classes that were just so great for sellers, and just things that they don't normally talk about that are like basic to-do things for your store that would be really helpful. Yeah, I'll put the link underneath this video for that website, and they do make you fill out like your name, email address, that kind of thing, basic info, so they can like send you updates and stuff. But it's so worth it. You want access to all those videos, I promise. The classes were so helpful. So I'll just the best class about listing at eBay Open was the class called The Perfect Listing. And they didn't give as much detail as the search guy did when I talked to him. And I'll talk about the things that he talked about specifically that they did not. But they covered so much in that class, guys. So much. They really did. And so I encourage you to go watch that video. Please, please, please go watch that video. Go take notes and it'll just really help bring your listings to the next level. They even talked about pictures. They did talk about titles, but they didn't talk about specifics for certain categories. Hi, welcome to the video. Hello. And just so you guys know, I am going to be taking questions right after each segment. Like, we're going to talk about listing first. I'll get through all of that, and then right at the end of that, you can ask questions about listing with me or anything you want, and then we'll move on to the next topic just to save time. But the things that they talked about in the perfect listing, they talked about using UPC codes helps them categorize you better, and helps Google find you better. If they don't have a UPC codes and item specifics, they like told you what you should be putting in item specifics, but they didn't talk about a lot in titles. They just told that you need to write as much as possible. You need to use relative keywords, no acronyms, like no NWT for new with tags, no S for small, like write the words out. You really don't need new or used or whatever in your title, because now, especially with the app, 60% of people are shopping on the app for eBay, and underneath of the title in the eBay app is your condition. So it's really just taking up space in your title for you to put new or used or whatever, and they will categorize you as such whenever you select it in item specifics. So don't use acronyms at all. If you're going to write the size, you should always write the size, which is important, but make sure you're writing out small, medium. And honestly, what I've been doing too is, like, you know how with some women's dresses, it's size 2, size 6, size 4, you know, size 4, 6, 8, whatever. Whatever, like small, medium, or large goes with that specific number, I've also been putting in my title. And I think that helps, because sometimes people don't know, like with the specific brand, if the sizing goes 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, they sometimes will just put extra small, small, whatever. Oh no. Okay. Well, hopefully this video is running through good for everybody. But yeah, so don't use any acronyms at all. Write it all out, and I will always, like, with now what I'm doing is when I put the size 2, I'll put like extra small with it, for instance, because 0, 000, 0, and 2 are like considered extra small for, or I think, or whatever. You just put like extra small or small or whatever goes along with that people will be generally searching for. You want to use keywords, so that are relative. And then they actually said, and this is like in eBay bylaws, but go listen to the class. They said for new items, stock photos help. Like, help customers click on your item, which I think is hysterical, because like in the bylaws, they don't want you to use stock photos. They want you to use your own, which you should use your own as well. But they said like the first photo being a stock photo, actually for new items, is actually good for customers to find you. Go watch the video. They said it. I'm not lying. Go watch. And then also what they said, they said you need to entice your buyer with free shipping, a markdown manager, no caps, no punctuation, and the meta tags that they use on things are based on solds. So I'm going to talk about that some more with things that I also asked with the search guide. They did say that meta tags are based on sold listings. So I'll come back to that when we talk about, is it allowed for new items? Okay, I wasn't for sure. I just know, because I sell mostly used items, that they were like, no, you should use your own pictures, which I always do. Even with new items, I always put my own pictures after the new, like the stock photo. But they did say in the class that stock photos are good for new items. And they also pushed pictures like high resolution, 800 by 800 pixels, white background, and I'll talk more about that later. They did not say why you needed to use a white background, but Search Guy did, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. Filling up the entire frame, like making sure, like if my head was the product, that this is how you would frame it, obviously. Using AutoHance and the photo editing within the app or on the computer that eBay provides. And then using promotions for everything, and then making sure that your listing is mobile friendly. things you shouldn't do. And they said that 60-day returns will not work for everybody. They said this in that class. So everybody's like freaking out about 60-day listing, like 60-day returns. I mean, they said it won't work for everybody. And they said that in the class. So go watch it. They know it won't work for everybody. Okay. And then they also said no disclaimers in your listing. Like, disclaimers is just anything that'll turn off your buyer. Like, you can obviously give measurements and like your return policy, but don't say, I will only accept offers from somebody that has this much feedback. And like, they gave examples like that. Like, don't do anything ridiculous that'll turn off your buyer, basically. They said not offering free shipping will be a turn off for buyers, but I am not on board free shipping. Every time I've tried it, I've lost money. So I don't do it, but that's your prerogative. And then same day handling time they suggested, and that's just because they're guaranteed shipping program. They want everybody to jump on that wagon. And that's basically what they covered in the class. What wasn't covered in the class that I asked Search Guy, which is the reason why I went to him, is because not everything was covered that I asked about, was what Cassini was, and I've explained that multiple times in my Instagram lives of what Cassini is. It's that search bar on the left-hand side, and it doesn't rank us, it ranks our customers based on what they're searching at the very top. And then also what they did is what he talked about is what it exactly is used for and what it measures. And it's not us, it's the customer. I've said this a million times. Cassini doesn't give a crap about us. It's about their customer, what they're searching for, and linking them to us. But it's about the customer, it's not about us. So whatever the customer's putting at the top is what you'll see, like when you type something in at the top, that left-hand search bar is all Cassini, ranking everything based on the most popular searches that people put at the very top. And I'll take questions at the end if anybody has any. I'm just going through this really fast because these are things that I've talked about in the past, and I want to get to the things that I haven't talked about based on what they talked about in the class. So he also talked about how to specifically build titles for clothing. And they did not, I repeat, in the class, and they did that on purpose, they did not tell people how to title based on their category. I had to go to Search Guy and ask him, which sucked, because I spent a lot of time at eBay Open talking to this guy specifically about clothing titles. So if you have a pencil and paper, I will tell you exactly. No, Cassini is measuring the customers. It's not measuring us. The search ranking is different. Like, that's a whole different, how they're ranking us in search. It's connecting to Cassini. Cassini is about the customer. It's not about us. How we're being ranked is like, it's a lot of different factors, right? It's not just about what the people are putting in the top search. I know, he broke it all down for me, and I'll get into that a little more. I want to talk about titles first, though. So if you have a pencil and paper, this is how he told it. He told me clothing sellers, especially used clothing sellers, should always title brand first. Our customers are extremely brand oriented. They are going to eBay because they're looking for their brand and their item in a cheaper price. Brand first. Then category. For instance, Hudson jeans, right? And also, people are always asking about gender. Like, where do we put gender? Do we put gender in everything? No, you do not put gender in every single listing. The only time you put gender in a listing, and the only reason I'm saying this is because it's taking up space in your keywords. And he did say that ranking them in order, like the words in your title, ranking them in order does help in your search ranking. So, like, or how the customer finds you with Cassini, right? Because it has to do with what they're putting at the very top. So if it's Hudson and they could be men or women's in the category section on the left-hand side, then that's when you would put women's jeans or men's jeans. And then size, because that's what the customer is mostly looking for. They're looking for brand, category, size, then in most instances color. Okay, so it'd be Hudson women's jeans if it gives you a category on the left hand side. If you have a category like dresses, for instance, obviously there's not going to be a men's dress. I would hope not. That would be kind of weird. Anyways, it would be, for instance, I don't know, a dress brand. Okay, let's just use Anthropologie. Anthropologie has a million brands, but I've been using that all the time lately, so let's just use that. Anthropologie, Maeve, because Anthropologie and Maeve. Anthropologie should always go first because it's the #1 searched, then Maeve, then dress. You don't need women's. There's only women's dresses. So just put Anthropologie Maeve dress, small, and don't put S, don't put M for medium, XL, write the word out. Because here's another tip too. If you only put S, if the customer types out small, that S is not going to read. But if you type out small, the S and the small will read. That's what he told me. That's why they said don't use abbreviations. Does that make sense? Anyways, so I'm going to keep going. And then also after that, put like what the fit is. Well, do color first because that's what he said is next. Do color first. Then what the fit is, and then the other detailed words like boho, festival, whatever. With vintage items, he said if the brand is not important, if it's not like a highly or Western or whatever, like specific category items that the brand is not as important as the style, then yeah, put the style, then what it is, then the size, whatever. So let's see. Let me keep going. Oh, okay. The next thing I'm going to talk about is why they want us to do all white backgrounds. There's multiple reasons, but the biggest reason, and I can tell you straight out of the horse's mouth, this is what he said. He was poached from Google. This guy, the head search guy, was poached from Google Analytics. Like eBay's getting serious about being besties with Google, right? He said that Google Analytics for their Google shopping page, like when you go to Google, you type in something and you go to their shopping page, will only recognize white or black backgrounds only because they want their shopping page to look uniform and professional, right? Well, he didn't say that exactly, but he did say, that's my guesstimate, but he did say that they will only, Google shopping page will only recognize white or black backgrounds. And he worked at Google for years, like for the majority of his career, so he would know. And that's why eBay's trying to push, because they really are trying to be besties with Google and trying to make their site #1 in their search ranking. So that's the real reason why that they want us to do that. And also because they want their own page to look professional and uniform and want customers to all have the same experience, right? Across the board with all sellers. That's why they're trying to get us to jump on board with all this other stuff, is because they want their whole website to be pretty uniform across all categories, all sellers, whatever. They want us to all have the same aesthetic for their website. Makes sense, right? And I mean, if you're selling good product, well, I know what people are going to say. How am I supposed to stand out if that's what they want to do, right? You should stand out not just by your pictures, guys, by what you're selling, your price point, whether you are a top-rated seller, whether you have a history of by making good titles. Like all these things should just be how to make yourself stand out. It shouldn't just be about your pictures. It shouldn't just be about your title. It shouldn't just be about what you're pricing things at, what your shipping is, whatever. It's a combination of all the above. And that's what'll make you stand out to your customer. So I wouldn't freak out so much about, oh, they want us to have an all white background. I don't want to do that. I want to stand out. I like doing this. I like doing that. You know, that's fine. That eBay understands that. They make these suggestions to try to benefit their website, because #1 is going to be their website, guys. They're #1. And then us making sure that they're serving us the best way that they can by giving us suggestions about how to sell our products, right? So they're not saying it'll work best for everybody, but if you want your items to show up on Google Shopping, then you need a white or background, and more specifically white. That's just how it is. If you don't care about Google Shopping page, like having your stuff up there, then don't worry about it. Do your thing. But my question to you would be, why wouldn't you? Anyways, so also the most important, he also said what the most important info per category to build titles and item specifics. So they also pull from item specifics. They don't just pull from titles. So I know I've been saying title, do this, do that, but it's not just your titles. The item specifics are important as well. And on the left-hand side where you see Cassini, and I keep saying that because it is Cassini, it's that search on the left-hand side. There's different sections on that search. The top one is categories. The middle one is local filters specifically for your category. And then the bottom is what they call global filters. Those global filters are price, shipping, where it's located, and all that. That should all be in your item specifics because that is where their global search is pulling from. It is not pulling from your title, which is another reason why I said you do not need your condition in your title because the global filters is pulling from item specifics, not from your title. That's what he told me. So, and he also said that the customer sees it as well. 60% of buyers are on mobile, sees the condition underneath your title. And will search accordingly as well. Let's see. Let's keep moving on. I already talked about that. Okay, so people are like, oh, I don't want to change everything. I'm so used to doing things like my own way. I've been doing this for so long. It's worked for me. Whatever. That's fine. If you don't, I mean, I'm just relaying information from eBay of suggestions they're making, but I can tell you right now, my views have gone up on the listings that I have changed. And today, one of the things I want to do on my agenda is go through the listings that I've already changed because it's a process. It's taken me a lot of time to change all these things and to try to make improvements on my store, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And it's a process. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a lot of work. But I can tell you that the listings I have done this to and have improved by what eBay has told me to do has got more listings. Whether that'll bring more sales, I don't know. But if I can get more eyes on my item, then why wouldn't I? Because I feel like it would increase my likelihood of sale, if that makes sense. So people will say, oh, I don't want to change anything. I'm so used to doing things a certain way. eBay's telling me I have to do this and I have to do that. Like, I understand. And honestly, though, if you don't try new things, how would you know? If you're not willing to try these things here and there, like, for instance, I've tried free shipping like probably 4 or 5 times now, and it's never worked for me. It just hasn't. But it's not saying it won't work for you. And if you don't try new things, if you don't try to, make adjustments to your store here and there, then that is what will set you apart from your customers, that you're always looking for new ways to improve. And I think too, like, if you have a lot of followers on your store, even if you're just starting out, people like to see a progression in your store, like to see that you're succeeding, like to see that you're making improvements on your listings and that they're getting a better quality listing to shop from and a better quality store. Like, I think that's all something we should shoot for, in my opinion. Oh, okay. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Sell Now button. There's been a lot of controversy about this too. So I've changed the whole way I've been listing in order for me to categorize myself with the highest listing sold for that item. Because he also said that if you do the Sell Now button, it'll categorize you with other like things within your category and will help them track how to search you, and then also for like sold comparables and stuff like that for us later. So I've been trying to do the Sell Now button as much as I can, or Sell Similar, instead of just doing bulk listing and listing Sell Similar to myself. And this just helps eBay categorize us better and makes us more searchable and helps us helps us know in the future what our items should be listed by if they have the information that they need based on how our items are categorized. And it's harder for used items because we don't have a UPC code, right? We don't have reviews on our stuff. We don't have any of the things that the new items are easily available to them to be able to categorize their items. So he told me to use the Sell Now button. And in the class, I will repeat what I said earlier, that they said that the meta tag is based on solds. So that means that if you go to the solds, find the listing, for instance, what I'm doing, I'm going to the solds, finding the highest rank, like the highest sold of my item, and I'm hitting sell similar. And also, like, it makes it a lot easier too because it fills in a lot of the information for you as well. I know it's not like, and I asked the Seller Hub people if they could make that available to us with the bulk listing option. Like if we could go, if there was a way to still be in Seller Hub, but still go to like sold comparables and like drop them in. And the girl said that was a great idea. And the guy was just giving me a line about like, oh, there's plenty of programs out there to make your listing faster. I was like, no, I don't want my listing to be faster. Well, I would like my listing to be faster, but I want to be able to have a sell similar, sell now button within like the bulk listing option in Seller Hub. By like being able to go out to solds and be able to click on that. She thought that was a great idea. So anyways, so what I've been doing now, all right, let me take questions if you guys have any. Let me look at the chat real quick. Sorry guys, this is my first YouTube live, so I'm going to have to go back and look. Bear with me, I'm on my phone. Oh, Poshmark pops up on Google Shopping even with the white background. Then I don't know what's going on with Poshmark, but that's exactly what he told me, guys. I'm just relaying what he told me with that. Maybe Poshmark has a different thing. Let's see. Okay, we'll talk about inventory in a second, guys. Okay. So I'm going to talk about real quick how I've been listing lately since I got back from eBay Open. The most efficient way that I've seen, that I figured out for me to list is to do each individual item listing first, like draft it first before I even take pictures. And I will go to solds, click on the highest sold and hit sell now or sell similar, and then put in my measurements and change anything that I need to and save it as a draft. And then I've been coming back to do my pictures actually and taking the picture within the listing, if that makes sense, on my phone. And that way I'm still touching the item as many times as I used to when I would do bulk listing, but I still can do it like one at a time and it auto fills in that information for me still, if that makes any sense. If you guys have any questions about that, let me know. It's been going great though so far. I haven't had any problems with it and I can still do all my listing at one time and all my pictures. Yeah, I know people have been saying different things about eBay Open, guys. And that's why I try to give you a rundown on the class, like specifically on the class. Hey, Chloe. And I encourage everybody to please go watch the Perfect Listing class. Like every information that I just ran down is what they covered in that class. Take notes. Make sure that you know exactly what they're saying. If anybody that you have heard has told you differently than what they said in that class, then what does that tell you, right? What does that tell you? And I got frustrated with this as well because I have seen some things and I'm like, well, that's not what people told me, you know, at eBay Open. And I didn't ask other sellers, I asked eBay. And some people were saying that like people that didn't really know the answer, like some of their employees even might have given different information. But the employees that I talked to that were specific for the like the topic that I wanted to talk to were very consistent with their answers. Like I said, I went to the head guy at Search. I didn't just like go to some random person. I looked for the head guy on purpose. And he told me these things. So, yeah, it's frustrating too, because I have had a lot of people come, like, message me or whatever and be like, well, this person said that, or this was said. And I'm like, look, go to the eBay Open videos, please. I will put the link under this video after this live is over. You can go watch the videos for yourself and see what they said. And then these little things that I've added are just things that I wrote down from the guy at eBay Open from Search that told me this stuff. So I wouldn't be reciting this to you guys if I heard it from another seller, because I didn't. Honestly, I didn't talk to a lot of sellers while I was at eBay Open. I was too busy running around asking questions to the eBay employees. But if you have any question specifically, shoot me a message after this, either on YouTube. I don't know if you can do private message on YouTube. I'm not a very good YouTube user. But if you want to send me a message on my Instagram, I will leave a link to my Instagram after this video too, underneath of this video, that you can send me a message on there and ask me specifically what you had an issue with, okay? And I will try to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you. He didn't tell me that. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not scared to say I don't know something, because I don't know a lot, okay? All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was what I've been doing to stream. Okay, let me first see if anybody has any questions in the chat. If you have any questions in the chat about specifically what we just talked about, please go ahead and put them in there. I'll try to answer real quick. Okay, let's see. Okay. Listing titles, is it recommended to type the word size or just the number? Example, size 10 or just 10, doesn't matter. Okay, so, and I think somebody else had the question, I'm sorry if I didn't answer right away, about whether you should like write the word out 10 or put the number 10. The answer is you should always put what the customer is going to put, right? So you write the number 10. And I think that's the only time that they, like, it's a numerical. They didn't say not to use numerics. They just said it's actually better for the human psyche if you have some kind of number in your title. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but if, like, I have a shirt that says is a size small, but I put, for instance, the old price in the title, the human psyche goes naturally to numbers when they're reading things. So it's actually better that you have a numeric in the title just from personal psyche. And they didn't say you can't put numbers in the title. Especially with used items, it's probably a good idea to put like the retail price in your title somewhere, not in the very beginning. I would put it at the end, or, you know, because they're not going to be searching for that. You want to be putting the things that are most searched in the front of your title. And I wouldn't, if you don't want to, I wouldn't recommend putting size, like putting size 10. What I've been doing is I've just been putting the brand, the category, the number 10, or if you feel more comfortable putting S, like size before the 10, just so they don't get mixed up when they're reading, that's up to you. Because sometimes I will do that too. It just takes up space in your title if they're not searching size 10, if that makes sense. Like if they're not typing out the word size. If they're just writing the number 10 at the top, then it's still gonna bring up your item. It's just wasting a little extra space in the front of your title. But I would for sure write the brand, the category, the size, whether you write size 10 or small, always write the word out, never write like S, medium, L, XL, write the word out, and then what color it is, for example. Yeah, no problem. And that's just what he told me. I specifically asked him that question because they did not answer it in the class. They did not answer, because they wouldn't. Like, we are all different categories. Why would they answer that question in the class? It's going to be different for every category, based on what people look for with that category. And if you want to see Cassini on the left-hand side, it'll tell you what people are searching for in your category. It'll bring it up. Now, the guy said for Cassini, it's only reading the customers. But that doesn't mean that they don't have a search algorithm, a separate search algorithm, or that kind of works with that helps them categorize us as top-rated sellers, right? I mean, if you think about it, does our top-rated seller status, is it based on how people are searching us in eBay? It's not, right? It's basing us on how many items we are getting out on time for shipping, like a lot of different other factors, right? So I think it might be a different search algorithm that's doing top rated, but it still may influence like where you're being put within the ranking. But I don't think it's, and it still might, like if you have that top rated seller status, it'll help you with your ranking on the search. But I do think that like title item specific, because if you notice when people are typing in the search at the top, some of the top rated are not at the very top. So if Cassini and top rated were the same thing, don't you think that all the top rated sellers would be at the very, very top? They're not. Sometimes there aren't top rated sellers at the top, but they've either had really good search titles or item specifics or pictures, whatever. Also though, let me add, people have been messaging me like, oh, like there's some listings at the very top that have crap titles and crap pictures. Why are they at the very top? Because usually they were newly listed or they were just changed. They will be at the very top for a very, very short amount of time, and then they will drop back down in rank, okay? Let me go to the chat and see what's going on. Okay. Okay, question. Would this be a good title? Champions men's polo shirt, size medium. Okay, so if it's a polo shirt, if you have any question about how things should be titled, go to the top search bar like your customer and try typing it in and then see what comes up on the left-hand side. If it gives you category and if it gives you an option of either choosing men or women's, then you know to put either men or women's in front of your category, if that makes sense. If it doesn't give you that option and Cassini automatically places you within a category, it's really not important for you to be putting men or women's in the title because Cassini will already categorize you as such to its customers, if that makes sense. So if there's any question about how you're putting your title, just type in the item in the search at the very top and see how Cassini is putting it in order. Did that answer their question? And that way you can do it for anything. You can do it for any specific item. You can see what Cassini is doing on the left-hand side based on what's in order and how you should be putting your title. And it should give you suggestions of keywords to put in your title as well based on the local filters right underneath of your category. Question, when you list from sold, did you say you rank sold by highest dollar sold and then select similar? Yes. I want to get the most for my money and I want my listing to be the exact same as that person that sold it for the highest amount, if that makes sense. Obviously, they sold it for a high dollar amount for a reason. Maybe it was some fluke thing, but if you can make improvements on the highest sold item within that category or like what you're selling and still make improvements on that listing, yeah, you're going to be good to go. Let's see. That's what I've been trying to do. And it's really worked out for me, guys. My sales have increased this week, so I'm super excited. And I'm actually going to do, like, I'm going to kind of track what's going on with the titles specifically that I've changed and see if I can give you guys like a percentage of the increase of viewers that I've had just on those listings, because most of my store has not been changed yet. I've been slowly trying to go through and change certain listings, titles and things like that, so maybe I can get a percentage together for you guys of viewers that have increased with my listings. Whether it'll increase my sales, there's multiple things that could be on that graph, that bar graph, right? That could increase my sales. It could be pictures, it could be title, it could be item specifics, it could be price. I run sales constantly, it fluctuates weekly. So there's so many things that influence sales, guys, that I probably would not accurately, I'm gonna be straight up, I wouldn't be accurate to be able to make that assessment, but I can tell you how many views have increased on my items based on changes that I've made. So I will try to do that for you guys. And okay, now I'm going to talk about eBay schedule. I've been so trying to streamline my day, and like really put things in order for how to make the most of my time. So my kids get dropped off around 8 o'clock at school, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Both of my kids are in school. My eldest is in elementary school, so she goes throughout the entire week, but my son only goes 3 times a week. So what I've been doing first thing in the morning is I'll run my new sale. I have been trying to do a new sale every single day. And it's just really been helping me to like kick those customers in the butt basically, and be like, because eBay will send them like a countdown of when the sale ends. And so I've been trying to run a new sale every single day. So they'll get that automatic countdown and be like, your item's gonna like only be on sale for this amount of time. And I feel like it's kind of pushing people to buy a little faster. And I've noticed, and I've only started that this week, and it's been working really well. So I'm doing that first. Every single morning, I'm going to start a new sale. And then the next thing I'm doing is I'm either taking pictures and making things live with like my new listing system, or I'm doing unsolds from the day before to relist, to make sure that my numbers throughout the day are still high, that people are still seeing all my items for sale, and I can just get as much up as possible. I'm trying to do at least 20 a day at minimum, and that's without unsold. So like 20 new listings a day. That's my goal, to try to keep up with what's going out, is to do 20 new listings a day to build my numbers. I'm also trying to pull inventory right now to be putting up on auction. I have noticed that throughout the week, if I have multiple auctions ending throughout the week, views on my store come more often. So my next goal for the end of this week and next is to have 99-cent auctions of clearance stuff that are going to pop up, like maybe 10 a day. Just to really bring people into my store and have them shop. Like they'll go to the 99-cent, oh, they might not be interested in that, but maybe they'll click on my store and buy something for full price. And if anybody knows if you can read in Seller Hub, I did go to the Seller Hub class, but I didn't know if they said this or not. I'll have to go back and watch that class again. If you can view, like if people have gone to your store page and have looked at everything, how many sales are converted to that, like with your click-through rate. If anybody knows how to do that, shoot me a DM or a message or put it below, because I'd really like to know how to do that with Seller Hub, to be able to see like the people that are going to like my whole store page from like me saying, hey, go check out my store for other items or whatever's underneath. They'll click on it and go to my store. What that converts to sales. I really hope there's a way to see that, because I'd really be interested in looking. And then what I do right after that is I will either do my shipping, like start pulling things for shipping. I keep all my stuff in the garage, and it's super hot in the Valley in California right now, so I try to get it done early, but I get my shipping done, guys, seriously, in an hour, because it is so hot out there. I am trying to get all my stuff as fast as possible. Like I just go boom, boom, boom. I don't print out a spreadsheet. I don't write things down. I'll take my phone. I'll go item to item, click on it. Or little quick tip, if you have an iPad or some kind of thing like that, it's easier to see. I put my inventory system at the end of my titles, which honestly I'm going to change too, because I think that it takes up space. But if, sorry, I had something pull up on my screen. If I'm not taking up space with that inventory number at the end of my title, I can use it for more keywords. So I need to switch that up too. But right now I have it at the end of my title, and if I'm on an iPad and I put it this way, the whole title will read out, and the inventory number you'll be able to see at the end. So if I'm in a bin and I have like 3 or 4 things that are in the same bin, I can just scroll up and down and look and see and pull anything I need to from that bin. So if you have an iPad or some kind of tablet, put it sideways for your solds, and you'll be able to see your whole title and your inventory number at the end. That's a little tip. So I do shipping, and then I will either schedule stuff for social media or just any kind of scheduling that I need to do for anything. And it's personal, it's, professional, whatever. And then I'm starting to use promoted listings. So any new listings I have, I'll start throwing up on promoted listings towards the end of the day. I have noticed an increase in sales using promoted listings by a little bit. I don't know how much. My views have gone up substantially. I know that. My sales have gone up a little bit. So is it worth it? I don't know. Like I said, I'll do anything to increase the views on my sales. I don't pay a lot for promoted listings. Like if you look, you can adjust the price. So I don't pay a lot. Any little advantage, I will take advantage. Like, that's why I was eating up what eBay Open was telling us. I mean, there's certain things that just with my business model and what I do on a day-to-day won't work for me. Or it'll take me like a while to adjust my life to it. But I was trying to eat up anything I possibly could because any edge I can get, I'm all about it. Does anybody have any questions about if you've had any problems like streamlining your day or time management? I recommend doing the same thing every single day. Or if you have like a sourcing day, for instance, like take a chunk of that time that you're using. Let's say that you're using it for listing or taking pictures. At least if you are not doing the same thing every day, make the time that you're using that changes. Like if you take pictures on a certain day, then that next day do sourcing within that time period, if that makes sense. Yeah, custom SKUs. Yeah, that's a good idea to go ahead and see what Janetta said about custom SKU if you want to do it that way, because I think I'm going to convert to custom SKUs as well, just so I can save some space on my titles. Yeah, that's good. It's even if you can just like decide what you're going to do per day, especially with like people that do this part-time. I know like you have to pick and choose what you're going to do each day, right? Like you can't do it all in one day. So even if you can just decide and write it out in advance, like I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do this today, like, and do it in the same time period. I feel like the more consistent I am as far as usage of my time, the more I get done in the day. That's just how I work. I'm a list maker. I have to write everything down. I have to stay consistent and do everything in the same amount of time, and also take breaks. Like if I'm sitting at the computer and listing for hours and hours and hours, if I don't take like a 15 or 20 minute break here and there, I am not a nice person, and my listing just gets slower and slower and slower. I notice like I can do like 10 to 12 listings an hour at first, but then it'll start to like trickle down and I'll get less and less and less if I'm just keep listing more and more like that. It takes me a while to do listing, but it's actually sped up since I've done, so I can probably do around 15 an hour now with the new way that I'm doing it, which is great because it helps fill in all your information. Before, when I was doing Sell Similar with my own stuff, I'd get it down to like around 12. But now that I'm doing it this way, it's gone a little faster. But, yeah. Hey, did you go to eBay Open, the Flip Monkeys, if you're in Vegas? I hope you did. If I lived in Vegas, I'd totally be there every single second of the day. If anybody wants to go to eBay Open, it is a 24-hour thing. Like, I would recommend, if you are going to go to eBay Open next year or whenever, if you want to do things in Vegas, make sure you're planning an extra day or two to do those things, because they had so much going on specifically for eBay 24/7. I was exhausted by the time I got back to my room at night. Just because even during meal times, they'll have pop-up events and meet and greets, and there was just always something going on. So, and I didn't want to miss out on any of it. Like, I went there for eBay. So just be prepared. If you want to go to Vegas and do some stuff, yeah, you probably should plan an extra day or two. Oh, no problem, guys. I'm glad this stuff is helping, and honestly, thank Search Guy. Thank the head guy at Search, because he was super patient with me, and I literally talked to him for over 2 hours, and he probably hated my guts. And the funny part was when I asked to videotape him, because I wanted you guys to know that it was coming straight from him, he was like, no. He literally made that face, was like, no, I'm not doing that, sorry. He was so over me, but he was great. He answered all my questions. He went to the computer. He showed me examples. It was great. Do you ever enter a UPC and eBay won't accept it? No, I've never had that happen. You might want to call eBay about that. But in the meantime, if you need to get up your listing, just put does not apply, because you can always go back and make changes if you figure out a way for your UPC code to be accepted. But if you have an issue with a UPC code, you probably should call eBay and ask them why that's a problem. It's probably based on the item. Oh gosh, tell me about it. I am so behind on YouTube videos. I haven't had time for anything. All this work. Ugh. And then I've had family emergencies and stuff this week as well. Okay, good. Yeah, I think there's other YouTubers out there that has made videos about promoted listings. It's not that hard to do, guys. You just, if you haven't done it before, you just go to the promoted listings page. And if you want to select listings, it'll give you, so eBay had been temperamental with me though. You have to give it a second to load all your listings. Like, I don't know if it was just my computer or if it's the promoted site in general, but it takes a while to load all your listings. And then if you wanted like mass promote, you can select all your listings. Just give it a while, like refresh the page after a while, because it took a long time for all my listings to pop up on the promoted listing site. Oh yeah, no problem. I'm so glad that you guys liked it. The changes I'm making, there's so many changes I'm making on my store, guys. You guys know, I don't know if you followed me for a while, I changed my store name to do Thrifty Boss Babe Store. So I have to change a ton of pictures, because when I first started, I have pictures from forever ago that are just so crap. It's embarrassing. So if you go to my store and you see all these crap pictures, please know that those are probably items that have been relisted more than once. And they're old, and I was not good at pictures at first, guys. But I feel like my pictures are slowly improving, and I am spending a portion of my time improving each listing. I'm going to a page, and I'm doing a page at a time, and I'll select all the ones that I think really need changing, and I'll change the two things I've really been working on is changing the brightness of my background, like of my photos, the brightness. And if it doesn't have a white background, I at least like make it brighter. I will later go back and take all new pictures with white backgrounds. But I at least make the brightness and contrast really nice. And I also change the titles. Because like I said, I have noticed an increase of views on the items that I have changed the titles to the format that Search Guy told me. To do bulk on kids' clothes, like to sell it in bulk? Is that what you mean? I don't really sell kids' clothes. If anybody does sell kids' clothes, I mean, I have kids and they have clothes. I just don't enjoy putting them on eBay. So if anybody sells kids' clothes, can you please answer Andrea's question about doing bulk with kids, selling them? Let's see. Yeah, you can only do 500 listings per time, like per campaign. That's really not that big a deal to do separate campaigns. I haven't seen a problem with that. Let's see. Yeah, the contrast, like I never change the brightness on a photo without also changing the contrast. Because if you increase the brightness on a picture with the scroll thingy on eBay, it'll kind of wash out your color. So I also increase the brightness, and I'll just play with those too. Let's see. How many listings am I doing a day from start to finish? So I don't do start to finish listings. So I think I said earlier in the video, what I've been doing lately is I will list drafts first from the sell nows with sold comparables. So I'll find the highest sold comparable for my item, and I'll hit sell now or sell similar, and then I'll make a draft. And then the next day, or like whenever I'm also listing, I will do pictures. Now, if you want to do it a different way, that's fine. But I also have items, like I keep just like doing it like that. But I take some pictures every day, and I also had listings. I had a girl that helped me, and she made some drafts for me already before she left. It's all been me lately. But before, I had about 100 or 150 drafts that she had already pre-made for me that I had been able to list consistently throughout the day. So I'm going to have to break it up. Like I'm going to have to do, like, let's say I'll do 10 drafts of sell nows, and then I'll do, if I want to do pictures in all one day, then I'll make them active. Like I'll do 10, I'll just make them active, if that makes sense. You just plug in the pictures with the drafts and then make them active. Just as long as you're doing, you don't have to create the listing every single day, but you have to make them active every single day, if that makes sense. So if you want to sit up, I hope you guys can still see me. I don't know what happened. I disconnected for a second. Are we good? Somebody tell me if we're good, because I think I disconnected for a second. Anybody tell me we're good? Okay. All right. So you don't have to make as long as you're making them active throughout the week. Like you can make the draft all in one day. You can take pictures, you can do whatever, but just like do 10 here, 20 here. Like make sure you're listing consistently and making those drafts active throughout the week. Okay. Let's see if there's any more questions. Okay, when you're listing women's jeans, do you put the size for, e.g., 12P, or what's on the tag of the jeans, or measurements, 32 inches? Hope that makes sense. Okay. I used to. And now, also, I don't even put petite in my listing. You want to know why? Because I will put in the item specifics that it's petite 12. I won't put it in my title. Because I want more people to find my item. If they're not a petite and they go to my listing and they see, oh, it's petite, whatever. But even petite people, like, they're going to look for size 12 in general, right? So if you put 12 with a P right next to it, that 12P is only going to be searchable for the people that type in 12P. So if you want to do that, but you don't make, first of all, you would never put P anyways, because I said no acronyms. So it would be 12 petite. If you want to do that, that'd be great, because people that are searching for 12, and then also people that are searching for P, or I mean for petite, will have them both in the title. But so you want as many people to view your item as possible. Not all people will be searching 12P, if that makes sense. So if you want to put petite, I don't ever put petite in my title. I just put it in item specifics, because people will select, like, on the left-hand side in Cassini, they'll select their size type or whatever, or they'll go to the listing and see it's petite. And Cassini will also, like, if they look for petite sizes on the left-hand side, it'll pull from item specifics, if that makes sense. But if you want to put petite in your title, do it this way. Do the brand, women's jeans, 12, and then the word petite. And that way you're covering all your bases, because 12 and petite are two separates, if that makes sense. All right, sorry, scrolling down this way. I need to not use my right hand to scroll. I'm right-handed. All right. Oh, and like the inseam. I don't put the inseam in unless it's men's, because that's usually how men search for their items, right? They're used to looking for 33, 33. And also put spaces between all of that as well, because you don't know if the person's going to be searching 33 or if they're going to be searching 33 by 33, if that makes sense. So make sure you're putting spaces so each individual keyword can be utilized properly when they search for your item. But with women's, I do not. I'll put in item specifics because as a female, I'm going to look up women's size 4 jeans, and then I'll look for items, like I will select if I want them a certain length or whatever, or I'll just make sure that they measure properly within the item specifics. I don't ever search for that. Do I measure my items? Every single time. And I still get returns for sizing. Not very often, but I do get them. But if you don't put the measurements, you're going to get messages 24/7 asking for them. So just beat them to the punch and put in measurements. Okay. I know, no acronyms. Like, you save so much space in your title when you put acronyms, but they told us not to. Absolutely do not use acronyms. Write out the word small, write out the word medium. Don't use NWT or whatever. Like, no acronyms at all. No P for petite. Like, and that's just because you have to think what the search is looking for, right? The search is looking for each incremental word in your title. It's not like making, like, people are like, oh, you have to make this beautiful long sentence. No, search doesn't do that. Search is a computer that pulls keywords to match it to our customers. It has nothing to do with how pretty our sentences are. But if you want it to be good for your customer, that's a whole different story. But if you think that search is going to search you better because you have pretty long sentences, that's not correct. That's not how search works. Yeah. So to get rid of the messages, measure every single item and include as many measurements as is recommended for the item in which you are selling. Like, I include leg opening in my pants because there's going to be that one buyer that's going to be like, what's the leg measurement? And I'm not going to want to go out to my hot, steamy garage, find that item in the bin and measure it for them, right? I'm going to be like, guess what? I put the measurement in the listing for you. Go check it out and then buy it. Okay, thanks, bye. Do I use camera phone for my listings or point and shoot camera? I use my phone. I do have a camera that I got at a yard sale. That's a pretty good one. And I still use my phone because it's convenient, right? I mean, it's just so convenient to just like grab it. And I always wear jeans when I... Another thing too, I always wear jeans when I take pictures, like really stretchy ones. I don't do flat lays anymore. It was harder when I had just flat lays and like having to stretch in jeans. But I do mannequins now or hang. And so I always have jeans on so I can put my phone in my back pocket when I'm changing like the mannequin. Anyways. Yeah. Drop thread gorgeous. Yes. So like put spaces between them or just put spaces between them. So that way if a man is looking for like if they type in Hudson's men's jeans size 33 and they don't put times 33 because search is looking for that individual, each keyword, right? So you'll be more searchable if you have just the 33 as opposed to the 33 times 33 running on together, if that makes sense. What's my average price point in my store? I think right now it's about 30 something. I have some high end. I have any items ranging from 200 and some to $5 or $10. Like it just so random. And I'm trying to get it to where I can. Lately, I've only been sourcing items that I have seen comparables of $30 and over for, just for the price point that I buy in. That is the best outcome for me in that price range, because with higher end items, like they're harder to come by in my area, but I also don't like really dealing with them as well. Like for instance, I sold a $100 pair of shoes. That's not so bad, but I have sold like higher end items where it's like 150, 200, and I'm like sweating that return, right? Until that 30 days hits, I'm like, oh, don't return it, don't wear it and return it. And I'm still trying to find ways around that, like make it better for me to have more peace of mind for my return policy. So I would rather stay in between like the 30 to like $60 or $70 range. I feel like that's like my sweet spot that I feel comfortable selling items in. And yeah, restocking fee. I know I should do a restocking fee. I have 100%. Okay, so story time. I have 100% positive feedback in my store. I haven't been full-time selling for very long, but I am like really, I never want that to go away. Like, I will cry if my 100% feedback goes away, literally. So a restocking fee, like, I want to do it and I should do it, and you're totally right. I just don't like pissing people off. That's just not who I am. I hate making people mad. Okay. I do need to do it though. And I also need to, I always charge shipping. So that's never an issue for me. I always charge shipping. Every time I haven't, I've lost money. That model just does not work for me. Doesn't mean it won't work for you. It just, in my experience, has not worked for me. So I always charge shipping. So if it doesn't fit, they pay for shipping. I mean, they've already paid for shipping. They'll pay for it again. And I've only had like 1 or 2 cases where they've ever said that it was because my listing was not as described. And I could have argued it, but I just ate it because it was really cheap stuff. Does using sell now option in the sold category help in ranking your new listing higher? Is that why you're searching? Yeah. Well, it's not just about ranking you higher. It's also because I want all the same information that person had in their listing in order to make a sale, if that makes sense. And then also it helps eBay categorize you with that item. So if I do a sell now, in their sold meta tag, you will be categorized once you sell with that highest sold item, and eBay can track the solds. And therefore, like, you know, when you have an item that somebody just didn't give a crap about and they're just selling their closet or whatever, and they sell it for $2 when it was worth like $50 or something, and it like completely messes everybody up. Well, they're trying to change that by grouping us in like categories together, so to give people, and you know, like when they make those automatic suggestions about what you should price your item at, and we're like, yeah, right, eBay, I'm not losing that much money, you are cray cray. So that is because those crazy people, or like those crazy low prices that are just popping in and people selling in their closets, right? So to better categorize us in and better making those price assessments and those solds, and also like to give us better data, yeah, they want us to use that sell now category specifically for used items because they don't have a UPC. They try to categorize us the best they can, but doing sell now makes it easier for them, if that makes sense. Let's see. Okay, so some people say relist, some people say sell similar. I've been doing sell similar lately just because they give you a new code on your eBay listing. I know Chris from 10K on the Bay, he has said that if you just update the listing, it'll make it active towards the top more. But I want a straight up new code, but that's just me. And if you do a sell similar, eBay will give you a whole new category code. But don't get lazy and just hit sell similar every time. Like, make adjustments to your listing before you hit that save and make live button, okay? Like, go in and make the proper changes to get that item sold, because just because you get a new category number doesn't mean it's going to sell the second time you list it. There's a reason probably that it didn't sell the first time. And I think by him going in and changing things instead of hitting relist, or instead of saying sell similar, he's going in and changing things. It helps keep his items like better searched and just a better listing overall, which is probably why eBay suggested it. Hey, Mary! My eBay bestie is in the chat. where plagiarism is allowed without penalty of punishment. No, you love that? I'm going to copy the heck out of some sold listings. Heck yeah. All about that life. I just read both send out the it's relisted emails to Watcher. That's good. Oh, hit the thumbs up. Oh, thanks, guys. How does Kanye have time to even breathe? I know, right? He's so busy. You guys should go watch. If you haven't watched our mastermind call from Monday, he talks about time management and like his schedule and what he wants to do and stuff. And I always tell him to have a life and go do stuff outside of work. I'm like totally counterproductive of like trying to make sure we're doing as much work as possible. I'm like, go on a walk, have fun, eat ice cream. Oh, anyways. I know he does. He does kill it. Does anybody have any more questions? Because I'm going to finish up, guys. I've been sitting here for an hour and 10 minutes. Hour and 10 minutes, that's crazy. This is my first live in so long. I so love you guys. Thank you so much for following me, guys. Like, I really appreciate it. This has been an amazing journey. I love reselling. I love eBay. That's why I haven't really like done a lot of cross posting and doing other platforms, because I just love eBay so much. Where are you going to talk about meta tags? Okay, so meta tags are, if you don't know what, I don't know if you're asking what meta tags are, or meta tags are how eBay is tracking like solds and what they use to give us information, like in Seller Hub and stuff like that. And yeah, it's super important. That's why I've been doing sell now or sell similar, to help them with our meta tags. eBay is bae, man. Freaking love eBay. Oh, thanks, Mary. All right, guys. I'm going to finish up. If you have any more questions, drop them in the chat real quick before I head out. Otherwise, you're going to have to catch me later. I can answer messages later. I know, I should do both, guys. I'm so sorry. Mary knows my personal life has been crazy lately, and I have been trying to do this YouTube video forever, and people have been giving me a hard time because it's so true. It's so life. I need to make more YouTube videos, and I will put this in my schedule, and you guys will be regular, okay? Mwah. All right, guys, I'm going to finish up. I'll talk to you later. If you have any questions, put them down below. Message me on Instagram. It's Thrifty Boss Babe on Instagram. Bye!